So thank you, Vara Sensei, for giving me the opportunity to present. This is Sadia Afrose, and I'm going to present chapter 3 of the book, which is titled as Comprehensive Seismic Vulnerability Assessment. Comprehensive seismic assessment is an attempt in understanding the condition of the factors related to seismic situation. Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh, is highly vulnerable to seismic damage. One of the main reasons is having a larger building stock and vulnerability of those buildings. In order to reduce seismic damage, we need to focus on the features that might help in reduce vulnerability of the city. Broadly, to reduce vulnerability of the cities, to reduce vulnerability of the buildings. What we can do now is to reduce vulnerability of these buildings, and retrofitting can help in this regard. This assessment has been developed to help in assisting retrofitting strategy, which will help in reducing damage of the city eventually. The question is, how can a comprehensive assessment map help in developing our retrofitting strategy? Well, retrofitting is solely related to buildings, and buildings are an element of a locality or a city. So in order to optimize the effect of seismic retrofitting, it is needed to know the overall condition of a locality and requirement-wise which locality should be drawn to attention for seismic risk mitigation. And a comprehensive knowledge of the localities of the city will help in doing so. From this point on, the presentation will be focused broadly on two contents. The first one is to develop seismic capacity index estimation, and the second one is focused on developing the seismic assessment map of Dhaka city. So the question is, what is the position of seismic capacity index in preparing the seismic assessment map? So one of the key to make a city seismically resilient is to make the buildings seismically strong. To make a building seismically strong, first we need to evaluate the building's seismic performance to assess its condition as a whole and improve its seismic performance if it is low. Unfortunately, consideration of making the building seismically strong is not a very popular idea in the context of Dhaka city. In Bangladesh, there is no such way for the buildings to be evaluated seismically to determine their structural strength. In Japan, this kind of evaluation is done by figuring out the seismic capacity index IS using the standard for seismic evaluation of existing buildings. This is why seismic capacity estimation is needed in this regard. Now, what is seismic capacity index? Seismic capacity index, generally expressed as IS, is an evaluation method for evaluating seismic performance of a building. There are three levels of this screening procedure. In this research, the first level procedure to determine IS has been used. IS values ranges from 0 to higher, and the higher the IS value, the higher is its performance. So seismic capacity index is applicable to only RC buildings. So kacha, semi-paka, and structures other than paka that are easily visible in the city are not within the scope of this research. Among the paka buildings, the masonry buildings should not be considered as well. Masonry buildings are generally low rise in character, and considering this fact, buildings over 3 stories are considered for further analysis to apply seismic capacity index. Estimation of IS has been done by using relevant data from 582 buildings. So we have gathered those data from working group 2 of this project that also contained IS values. And based on these IS values, seismic capacity estimation equation has been developed to understand seismic performance of RC buildings all over the city. The equation is applied to the buildings of Dhaka city through a GIS database, which was collected from Rajuk in 2019. And to estimate the, develop the seismic capacity estimation equation, statistical approach, multiple regression analysis has been used. And IS values of the 580 buildings, 82 buildings were the pillar for developing the estimation. The estimation equation has been developed with available information of buildings to ensure citywide applicability along with the data we received from working group 2. So the estimation equation has been applied to the buildings of the city to understand their distribution based on their performance. This distribution of buildings has been used in the later part to develop the comprehensive seismic assessment scenario of the city. Now we will focus on the development of seismic assessment of map of Dhaka city. So after developing the estimation equation of seismic capacity index and applying it to the targeted buildings of the city, attempt is taken to develop the comprehensive assessment map of the city from seismic perspective. It has been done considering performance of buildings and emergency seismic response capacity. So firstly, the wards are classified by density of low performance buildings, and it provided the condition of the wards based on structural aspect. This is the map showing density of the low performance buildings, and lighter color means low density of low performance buildings and vice versa. And secondly, the wards are classified into different risk levels based on emergency risk indicators, and it provides condition of the wards based on seismic response capacity. So this is the map that is developed by using the seismic response capacity indicators, and it is a grid-based assessment. Each grid comprises an area of 500 meter and 500 meter. And the color gradation we can show here is from blue to red. So when we go from blue to red, the indication is low to high. So the comprehensive risk assessment based on seismic response capacity is based on five indicators. The first indicator is rescue and evaluation accessibility, and the map for this is shown. And the second one is emergency evacuation capacity and open space. The third one is rescue capacity of firefighters and community volunteers, and availability of emergency medical facilities is the fourth indicator, and the fifth indicator is evacuation capacity of temporary shelter. So now this is the representation of seismic response capacity assessment map in word, which is represented in word, because the assessment was in grid based to assess the condition of seismic response capacity in a more detailed manner, but to understand the overall effect of the seismic response capacity indicators, it has been converted into word-based assessment. And so the left one here, the left map here shows the assessment based on low performance building density, and the right one here is the comprehensive risk assessment based on seismic response capacity. These two maps were combined to develop the comprehensive seismic assessment of the city. And this map actually comprises 6 factors, as I have mentioned before. So basically, in this map, 2 broad components are covered: the performance of the buildings and the emergency seismic response capacity of the city. So in conclusion, I would like to say that this chapter provides a very comprehensive seismic vulnerability assessment map, which provides a visual understanding of the city that guide towards the understanding of the area requirement. And the result of findings of this research can help in the policymakers to decide on effective retrofitting strategies and provide the scope of detailed assessment of wards. The process has its own limitation, which leaves room for improvement and make the map more accurate. However, the proposed map in this research can play the role of a stepping stone to develop a more detailed understanding of the city. Thank you very much.